Hello, Yeshua Network. Nathan Wheeler here, founder of Yeshua Network. I'm blessed to be here and to be able to serve you today. Today is going to be quite a unique video. I've kind of done videos like this before, but maybe not quite like this, not how I plan on doing it right now. Let me just see if I can turn down that ringer real quick. Hopefully it doesn't turn down my mic. Okay. Yeah, so today's video is for me to bring everybody up to speed on why I recently asked, about a week ago, almost exactly, why I recently asked for people to pray for me, and a very specific prayer. And I had mentioned that I was at multiple crossroads, and these crossroads will directly affect this ministry. So if you are somebody who has been blessed or are being blessed by this ministry, I do ask that you would watch this video. I do ask that you get to know me a little bit more, the person who is serving you behind the camera here, and that you would take the time to really hear what it's like to be an online minister. It's quite a unique experience, and I don't know if most people really think about it. I think a lot of people, at least for myself, I often wonder if people just perceive me as a content creator. And I know there are Christian content creators, and that is a ministry, that is a form of ministry. But that is not, for me, what Yeshua Network is. This is not me creating content. This has not been my job, or this has not been a choice that I made to kind of say, okay, I'm gonna do this as a career, because I love the Lord and I love ministry. It's actually just the exact opposite for me. I had a career, I had multiple businesses when the Lord called me into ministry, and I have, since starting ministry, lost them. And it's taken its toll on me. Big time taking its toll on me. Especially the way that it happened too was quite brutal. It was not something that I handled too well on the inside. And most of you don't know this because I never talk about my personal life. I only talk about my spiritual life or my ministry. But I wanted to bring many of you up to speed, and I wanted to talk to you about it. So sorry for the long intro, but for those of you who don't watch longer than 30 seconds of a video, I wanted to prep you so that you might be enticed to actually watch this whole video. And if you're somebody who's never commented before, but you do watch the videos here or the content here at Yeshua Network, it would be super awesome if you would just say hello and just let me know that you're there and that you're watching. Because Facebook tells me that thousands and thousands of people watch my videos, but only, 100 or so on a regular basis comment. And it would be really, really interesting. Not that I've done this for 9 years needing human feedback, but it would be really important to me to see who this is reaching. After 9 years of doing this, it's kind of sometimes a thankless job. Because I don't have an audience of faces I can see, I have words on a chat screen that go up as I'm making the video. It's an interesting way to do ministry, I'll say that. So that's the prep. I'll get into it, and I'm going to try. I have to make this video quick because tonight is EBRT, so I guess it's kind of a new thing. I guess it's a new thing for me to try to pin myself into a time frame. Maybe it will motivate me to be quicker worded. All right, so starting off, why did I have you guys pray for me about these crossroads? I think you need to understand my situation if you don't know my story, because that's going to make it all. That's awesome, TMF squad, awesome. It's gonna make where I'm at make a lot more sense. So please bear with me as I give a little bit of testimony. I'm giving testimony. I'm not complaining. I'm sharing what I don't normally share, because I often don't ever want to bring my personal experience or my personal life into it. And I know you guys say, well, Nathan, you're always talking about your testimony, but that's a testimony about God. It's not, I don't hardly ever talk about what's happening in my real life. You guys don't know about, other than maybe my medical issues, but you don't know about my personal life, right? So when the Lord first called me to ministry, I I had a men's Bible study that was in my 2-bedroom apartment in Hollywood, and there were major rock stars and celebrities being baptized in my bathtub. The Bible study was a massive success. It was the most anointed thing I've ever seen on earth. It was the most biblical thing I've ever experienced, even to this day. In regards to like the flowing of the Spirit, EBRT, which is called, its entire Bible read through, is the most biblical thing that I've experienced on earth. But spiritual flow and Book of Acts, if you will, stuff was my God's Chosen Men Bible study, which I did not start. It was kind of passed, the torch was passed to me midway through, but it was happening at my place for a while. And we outgrew my 2-bedroom apartment. The reason why that's important was that it was in 2007 that I was told to do this ministry called Truth Me Free, which is really what all my ministry is based. It's a testimonial. I was told to lead people to read the entire Bible. I was told to tell people that the Bible is the truth. The Lord never told me that ministry would be my career. He told me I would go city to city, that I would be touring kind of like the Apostle Paul, and I would be telling people to set up churches. He never said that it would be a success. He never said, or like home churches or home groups. He never said that people would do it. He showed me living in a 5th-wheel trailer being pulled by a truck, which is the truck I'm sitting in now, which I only bought in 2019. And I saw it in 2007. And that was a really negative blow for me. I had a pretty good life in LA, Los Angeles. I was doing pretty good at the time that the Lord called me to ministry, worldly wise. I had worked from the age of 8 years old as a professional. I was already working as a professional in the Hollywood industry, as early as 8, 9 years old. My resume was better than most people by the time I was 14. And by the time I was 19, I was discovered by Oscar winners, and I was being taken under their wings. And I had an extremely, insanely, very, very successful life ahead of me, projected ahead of me, like insanely successful. And I was surrounded by the absolute best that Hollywood has. And so when a lot of that came crumbling down and I rebuilt myself, I sought out the Lord. I sought out what he wanted me to do. And while I was doing that, he was sustaining me. And then he one day randomly just like straight up spoke to me and gave me this entire lightning bolt to my brain that gave me like 1,000 images in a split second with full understanding. And he told me to create this ministry online called Truth Me Free on YouTube. He specifically said YouTube. And 2007 was the year like YouTube launched. So the only thing that was on YouTube was this thing called Talking Orange, and like some people who were like do-it-yourself technological, you know, around the house stuff. And like that was it. It was like, I'm sure there was other stuff, but like that's what everybody knew it for. It was a joke. Like if you put yourself on YouTube, you were weird, like you weren't taken seriously. And there was a lot of conspiracy theory stuff and all that kind of stuff on YouTube, but there was nothing like legit at the time. And nobody was thinking that they were going to become billionaires like the Beast or anything like that, or, you know, PewDiePie or whatever his name is. Like, it wasn't something that anybody saw as legit. It was purely like losers getting on the internet making videos, right? So when the Lord told me, I want you to create a YouTube channel, call it Truth Me Free, and tell your testimony, and people will believe on me because of your testimony, I literally fought him, and I was like, yeah, right, this has to be the devil. I rebuked him in Yeshua's name. I was like, well, whatever this voice is, I rebuke you. And I was like, yeah, this can't be of God, because I have such an amazing thing in front of me. Now, the thing is that I know as I'm telling this part of my story, I sound like the worldly part was important to me. And that's what a lot of people accused me of. And it was a real kick in my nuts that people thought that about me. And it's a real kick in my nuts that when I tell the story, even today, people still take it that way. The only reason I ever wanted to have success in this world authentically, like God is my witness, I wanted to have the ability to inspire and to have the money to do the things that I believe the Lord wanted me to do. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to surrender my money, my fame, my reach, an influence for his glory, to literally bring people to him. And I thought I needed to be, you know, the most famous person in the world, multiple Oscar winner, in order to do that. And so that makes sense, right? Because then I have the resources, people want to work with me, people want to, you know, stand by my side on stages, people want to give me money, like, to support a cause. Like, if a famous celebrity stands in front of a television and says, hey, let's raise $1 million for this orphanage, they can do it in like 2 seconds because they're a famous celebrity. And so it made sense that he had put together this amazing opportunity for me to work with these A-list Oscar winners, all around me, behind the camera, in front of the camera, musicians. I mean, the biggest rock stars in the world. Like, I mean, the best of the best people were my friends, and people who, like I said, some of them we baptized in my 2-bedroom crappy apartment in Hollywood. And like, so the thing is that, you know, this all made sense, the way that things were going. And he comes out of nowhere and says, I want you to basically shoot yourself in the foot. I want to just cut you off at the knees. I want to embarrass you. I want to make you the laughing stock of your family. I want to make you the laughing stock of your friends. I want every person who meets you in the future to be able to Google you and realize that you're a weirdo on the internet who says he hears from God, who says he believes in God, who says he visited, you know, had experiences and visitations from God. Like, I was just like, why would you do this to me, God? Like, what is this? How is this going to glorify you? That you're going the wrong way, right? And I'm sure most of you would never argue with God. I'm sure that God has never put something on your heart, or if you felt like God was pulling you in a direction and you thought to yourself like, well, God must be wrong. I know you've never done that, but I did. That was where I was at in my life, because I had such an amazing opportunity to do so much good with so much money and with so much influence, and nobody could have stopped me. The way I was going, nobody could have stopped me. And so, and I know in my heart, because everything that God gave me, I always surrendered it back to him. I know in my heart, at that point when he called me to do this thing called Truth Me Free Ministries, I would have absolutely surrendered every penny to him. That if he would have told me spend the money this way, I would have. But it was all, of course, my plan. It was all, of course, what I wanted. It was most of all, it was also everything I spent every moment of my life building towards. My friends, my family, my teachers, as I grew up in high school, they're like, oh, you're chasing the Hollywood dream. Good luck. You'll never make it. You're not handsome enough. You're not sexy enough. You're not this and that enough. You don't have the jawbone enough. Whatever it was, you know, they just, as anybody would do to probably 99% of the population, it says they want to move to Hollywood and chase the dream. I got that. My family made fun of me. My family was not really supportive and all that stuff. So for me to finally be literally like taken in by the Hollywood elites, and they were saying like I was the best thing they had seen in a long time, and I knew the Lord, and it was like, there was just all these positive things. Like it was vindication and validation for all that I suffered. So again, here comes God and says, I want you to go onto YouTube, which is going to cause that all to turn to ash. Because in Hollywood, you can't exactly be openly a Christian. In fact, the celebrities that I had baptized or were baptized in the bathtub and stuff like that, I can't tell their names because it would literally ruin their career. They're like mainstream A-list people, and if people knew they were Christians, it would actually like ruin their sales. And that's between them and God. So I hope you're not sitting there in judgment of them. That's between them and God. And when the day comes that they want to tell the world that they've been baptized since 2000 and whatever, you know, that's between them. But the thing is like it just really didn't make a lot of sense. So I fought God, and I fought him like hard for 5 years. And I asked these same brothers who were in this Bible study with me, I asked them to lay hands on me and pray for God to choose somebody else and basically allow me to go the way that I'm going. Well, I continued to build the business that he had given me, because in 2009, I prayed, Lord, what business do you want me to do? Not ministry. So understand the difference. I think some people, when they hear ministry, they think of it as a business. Ministry has never, ever, ever been a business to me. The idea of turning ministry into a business to me, it makes my stomach legitimately hurt. Just the thought of it makes my stomach authentically, I'm not lying, it makes it hurt. So in 2009, even though he told me to do this ministry online called Truth Me Free, I asked him in 2009, you know, what business now that I have all these resources, now that I'm doing what I'm doing, what business do you want me to do? And he told me to ask him for a vodka company. And again, I thought it was, I thought it was the devil, because I'm like, a vodka, why would God ever tell me to make a vodka company? It's so stupid. So I was like, I rebuked it, of course, and then, because I say it, because I thought it was the devil at the time. And then he says, no, it's me. So I fleeced him, and he very clearly provided the fleece. 2 weeks later, after that day, he ended up literally giving me a vodka company. And the person contacted me, and it was one of the largest vodka companies in the world. And I had absolutely no place in it. I had it was way beyond my experience and way beyond my expertise. But they had learned about me. They heard about what I had done, working with the Oscars and the Grammys and some celebrities and other brands before. And, they contacted my company I had with a buddy of mine, and they said, we want to let you be the first people to ever bring this massive alcohol brand to the United States, the largest alcohol brand not yet in the United States. And I was floored. It was 2 weeks. They called me after God said, ask me for a vodka brand. So I prayed, okay, Lord, if it's your will, give me a vodka brand. But if this is the devil, don't do it. So lo and behold, I got a vodka brand. And I did that I built that company over 9 years. And I reinvested every single penny I ever got. And I went door to door selling the vodka myself. I used my resources and connections, and I even took no pay whatsoever for the first year. It almost bankrupted me. And because I believed it was from God, and I knew what a vodka company would be worth. At minimum, it should be worth $100 million. Like, that's at the lowest end. If you guys are aware, George Clooney sold his tequila company for $1 billion. So, if you guys don't know how much alcohol brands sell for, that's around the price tags, around 100 million up to about 1 billion, up to 8 or 12 billion dollars. So here I was in my late 20s, with a brand that was worth way over $100 million. And I was building it on my own, running it on my own. It was already world established, but I got the world rights to it and things like that. So now I'm like, okay, well, this makes sense. Now if I establish this, maybe it's because God answered my prayer, whenever all my boys laid hands on me at the Bible study, and he was answering my prayer to choose somebody else for this thing he wanted me to do on YouTube, called Truth Me Free. So I was like, okay, well, this makes sense. He obviously realizes I'm the wrong person to do online ministry. And now he's giving me this, and this is how I'm going to end up one day being able to go onto the internet as a celebrity, like a legit celebrity with legit television show, legit movie, Paramount, Universal, one of the bigs behind me or something like that. And then I can make movies about what God wants me to talk about rather than a YouTube video series, right? So I was like, this makes more sense, because I'm Oscar winner trained. My mentors are the best in the industry. So like it doesn't make sense for me to just do YouTube. This is what I was thinking at the time, for anybody who just tuned in. So after all this stuff built up, and I ended up getting a portfolio of not just one single vodka brand. I ended up having a portfolio of 124 alcohol products. 124. I was the 4th largest alcohol conglomerate in the United States and one of the top 10 in the world. So if one vodka brand goes for 100 million, up to all the way up to $12 billion, and now I tell you that I had 124 of these, you can understand what I had built over 9 years. My dad was not rich. I had no family help. I literally hit the pavement myself. I reinvested every penny back into the company. I didn't buy myself a home. I didn't buy myself a fancy new car. I never took any trips. I never went on vacations. So as I'm talking to you about these things, it probably sounds like I'm really being worldly in my description. And because a lot of it has to do with money and success. But to me, again, all of that was so that I could take that I had been given, billions of dollars of value that I had built, billions with a B, billions of dollars of value that I had built. And my goal was to take that and just start writing all the checks that I thought people should be writing in the world. Building orphanages, creating private school systems, building churches or temples or places of worship, or helping people have Bibles when they don't have any, and like not doing fundraisers, not ruining ministering services, like not, being there and be like, let's open up the Bible today and let's have a whole word about, what we're going to hear from the Lord. And then at the end, we're going to pass around a plate and we're going to ask you for donations and tithes, and just ruin the entire mood, right? Like, it was one of the things that for me growing up, like I said, whenever I think of ministry and it acts like a business, it hurts me. I don't know how to explain it any other way. It hurts me. Like, I really, really dislike it. And I know that there's somebody watching this video who totally understands and has that same feeling. So when I'm talking to you about why I grinded and why I suffered and why I didn't pay for any of the nice things that any normal person would, like not a new car. I've never bought a brand new car in my life. I've never gone on a fancy vacation in my life. The only vacations I've ever really taken was like to Mexico, and then when my dad was alive, which he died right before my 14th birthday, so that tells you how long ago that was. The only other vacations I ever took in my life were like really, really cheap trips to Mexico, like Tijuana, because I lived in San Diego. But that's it. I've never taken a vacation my entire life. So, I've never had a day off in my entire adult life. Like, legitimately, I have not. And it was because I was under the hope. And I'm going to say, God never told me. He said, ask me for a vodka company. He never told me how long it would last. He never told me what it would become. And he said vodka company. He didn't say an alcohol conglomerate, which is what I built it up to be. So now in 2013, I just got done shooting a movie as a donation. Like, I didn't get paid for it. I worked 20-hour days for 3 weeks solid. And it literally like broke my body. And, I was the co-producer, I was the director, the lead, I was the co-star and co-author of the, well, I was like an editor. I wasn't the writer of it, but I made this movie for my buddy to help him out, because there was these Oscar-winning mentors that helped me out when I was a kid. So I was like, this person was one of my acting students. I also had an acting school at the time. It was like a movie studio with green screens and movie sets built, multiple cameras. I never advertised for it once. And when I had to close it down, it was because of the 2008 crash. And I had taught over 450 students. And my prices were the lowest in Hollywood. And I was teaching the Hollywood's secret of secrets. And I say that because to give you like more of an idea of like who this person is outside of the ministry. When 2008 happened, if you guys don't know, it's cliche, so you should know. But when 2008 crash happened, restaurants and bars in LA got shut down. Well, 99% of all actors are like, they're waiters or servers or bartenders or something like that, right? So when the restaurants and bars got shut down and like they were cutting back staff because nobody was going out to eat, my students at my school that I built, movie studio and everything like that I had, that I was working with and renting with this guy who's now famous. I won't say who he is, but he had this movie studio and they made a movie about him and all this stuff. Like, I was working with him and I had all this stuff and I was doing all these things. And then 2008 happened. I had to give 75 to 80% of my students full ride scholarships out of my bank account so they could finish the program. It drained my bank account. And I thought to myself, well, this is the right thing to do because God's the one who gave me the school. This was at the same time I was doing all my other businesses, by the way. I believed in the 7 streams of revenue. And so I'm doing all this and I have my acting school and I'm now paying for kids to finish what they started so that they can get their, their diploma, whatever it was, and degree. And then they can go and they can do movies, like, for sure. Like, my students were booking films. And one of them became a superhero, for Sony. So the point is like, these things were going good, and 2008 happened and the freaking rug got pulled out from underneath me, but I wasn't going to pull the rug out from my students. So I paid for them to stay in class. And I thought, God's going to reward this. Now, mind you, that's 2008. In 2009, when the school was like, I had to actually close the school, that's when I asked God, what do you want me to do? Because maybe you wanted me not to do the acting school anymore. Maybe there's something else. I hope this all makes sense. 2007, do YouTube. 2008, crash. I sustained my school as one of my revenue streams, but it cost me every penny I had. I literally went broke. 2009, I'm broke, and I'm asking God, what do you want me to do? Obviously, you see my heart, and you see how I gave every penny I made and everything I'm doing back to people who weren't even believers. I was just trying to bless people, right? And I thought he would reward it. And then he said, ask me for a vodka company. So then I was like, oh, this is the reward for me taking in, the coinage, the talents he gave me, and not burying them, but going and sowing them back into the world, right? And I was like, this makes sense. He gave me a little. He trusted me with a little. I did right by it. He's giving me more. And so now bringing you up to speed to this time where I have this alcohol conglomerate. It's 2013. I think about it, this time I only had 20 alcohol brands. So the reason why I'm sharing all this with you guys is that if you're in the middle of this, and I know I'm long-winded here, it's because I want you to understand the crossroads I'm at right now. I have to look at the time. Sorry for the beeping. Oh, come on, car. So, okay, I got time. So, when I finally started this ministry in 2013, it was because I had been fighting God for 5 years, literally fighting him and telling him no to doing it. And because I didn't want to ruin what I had. And I thought to myself, could you imagine the news? Alcohol conglomerate owner, celebrity, friend, movie producer thinks he hears from God, and God's telling him to tell his testimony on YouTube. Like, it just would have ruined everything, right? So I fought him so hard. And he was showing me things like the drama. He was showing me, like, I had to tell people about the end of the world. I had to tell people about the building of the third temple. He showed me in an RV being pulled by a white truck. And like I was going city to city, and I was like, well, that's not what I see. I see myself writing fat checks and just building orphanages and building churches for anybody that wants one, basically. And like just being the financial help that the world needs, because, there's all these rich people, and they're like, I feel like they just want to be the richest person in the world, and they want to store up their riches, and they're not like, they could change the world. It was my opinion, especially if they had the ability to make more. So, and of course, if you did it onto God, I thought it would be even better. So I'm like, this just doesn't make sense. I'm not doing it. I know I'm repeating myself. I apologize. It's just a lot of information in my head to try to filter through. So to August 18th, 2013, some of you obviously know the story. I died in the hospital. I woke up in the morning, and I had flatlined in the hospital. The doctor was writing my death certificate. And then as they were writing it, I woke up. I just woke up. They didn't shock me. They didn't hit me with an adrenaline pin, nothing. They couldn't even find that stuff. I was literally dead, and then I just woke back up. And they were like, that's impossible. Well, on the other side, when I say other side, on the spiritual side, I had a visitation with the Lord. His light was there, and I was visited by 4 angels. And they recapped my entire spiritual life specifically. Incidences where I got to interact with the Lord. And they said, when you had this experience, that was God doing that. When you had this experience, that was God doing that. That testimony is on YouTube. You can watch it today. It's called Truth Me Free. So you can go there. Nathan Wheeler, Truth Me Free. You'll get the whole details. So I had that experience, and what the angels had told me is that we had to kill you and bring you up here to paradise so that you could see you are indeed hearing from God. God is not mistaken in his choice to have you do this ministry. You do indeed need to go back to the world, to earth, and you need to tell your testimony. And when you do, these things are going to happen. And I have these things listed in the video in 2013, the very first major video, which is called What Heaven Was Like When I Died. And all those things have come true. I have yet to finish the series, but that's because I'm waiting on the Lord to guide me, and I feel that he actually is getting me closer to finishing the series, which I'm really excited about. I feel like he's been doing a process in me, so I'm super excited about it, actually, because nobody wants it done more than me. Nobody's wanted it done more than me from 2007. So as long as you guys have been waiting, I've been waiting longer. And so the thing is that I finally did it. I woke back up, obviously, after having a direct experience with the Lord in paradise and angels and everything, and they're recapping my life, telling me this is of God, you are not crazy. I opened up my cell phone there in the hospital bed and recorded my first video, and that is what's dominoed all the things that the angels told me have all dominoed, including Yeshua Network was hinted in it. They said I would play a role in bringing Yeshua, the name Yeshua, to becoming more of a household name. And here it is. We have Yeshua Official on Facebook, and we have Yeshua Network, right? With a couple of million subscribers. And this was all 9 years ago. So now here I am 9 years later. And when I started it in 2013, my companies were still building. They were still on the up and up. Like I said, around 2013, I had maybe 20 to 40 brands. But by 2016, I closed the largest contract, I think, like in alcohol history, spirits, vodka, gins, rums, things like that. I think, honestly, like one of the largest ones in history for a no-namer, to total out to 124 brands in my portfolio. I also worked out a deal with a buddy of mine, and I had my own NHRA drag team. I had a drag car, which we wrapped in only my products, no spark plugs, no oils, no gasoline, no tire companies. It was only my company's products. I don't know of any company who's ever done that. We were financing the whole thing by ourselves. And then I landed the largest alcohol contract that anybody can win in the world. And that's when, at that time when I finally built it up and I was finally about to like really start being able to write checks, it was around 2018. 2017, and my health waned from 2013 to 2018, and there was times where I was struggling because I couldn't do the work, and there was times where people helped me and they did GoFundMe's to get me through these seasons, and without them I wouldn't be able to do it because I had to reinvest into the company because the company was rolling and I had no outside like real investors, like no big investors. It was just like small investors. And so, I was really grateful for those times that people donated to me, but it also like broke my heart because I knew I was capable. I knew I had all the means within me and the drive and the work like ethic. I wasn't a lazy guy. I had multiple businesses. I was running one of the largest alcohol companies in the world. And here I am like needing GoFundMe for my medical bills and stuff. And it was just weird and backwards. And I thought it was maybe just a way of God checking my humility and things like that. But I thought it was all about to change, and then COVID happened. And when COVID happened, the contract I had landed got stopped. My manufacturing couldn't manufacture the amount I needed because they had to lay off 365 employees. So my manufacturing got stopped. And then the group that was ordering the alcohol, they couldn't hold it. They were going to leave me with it. So in a way I dodged a bullet because I would have been millions and millions and millions of dollars in debt by the time that purchasing came back after the COVID business. Millions and millions of dollars of debt. And then I would have had to have claimed bankruptcy. There was no way I could have sustained it. So God kind of saved me from that, but I broke even. And that's where I got to a crossroads. And I finally just really surrendered. And I was like, fine. I'll do the tour you've been asking me to do since 2007. I will do the tour you wanted me to do when you originally told me to do this thing, Truth Me Free. It was like one of the last things on the list you wanted me to do, which was to get into a fifth wheeler and a truck, the truck I'm in now, which I didn't know, I didn't buy it yet, with the truck I was in now. And through the help of supporters, because again, I was losing everything and my return on investment wasn't coming back because nobody was able to make the order, right? Because of COVID. So I was losing everything and I had already spent all my money in the marketing and all that stuff. So I got the truck, I got the trailer, and I went town to town to town to town, just as he told me to do. And that was the last tour that we did here. And it was a blessing. It was a massive, amazing blessing. It was everything he said. But at the same time, it was the reality I honestly feared the most. It was exactly what I feared when he told me in 2007, which was that my success in an earthly sense never happened. And he told me that in 2007, and I just really wouldn't let it go. I really couldn't understand why he wouldn't want me to have money. I've proven that I would give my last penny away to to help bless other people. Like, I was a good steward with my acting school. I gave my couch, I never let my couch not have somebody on it. The other room in my 2-bedroom apartment, I never rented it. I always had somebody living there. I had people who were like, basically they would have been homeless otherwise. And I put them in my guest room, so that they could get on their feet. I got them jobs. I literally clothed them, and I literally fed them. If they needed rehab, I sent them to rehab. I had my 2-bedroom apartment it was nicknamed Hotel California by some of my friends, because whenever one person would leave, because they got on their feet, the person who was on the couch got to go to the bedroom, and that opened up the couch for another person to come in. So it was like, I was a good steward with what the Lord had given me in my heart, in my mind. And for those of you who've seen the 40-Day Holiness Challenge, you can begin to see what my suitcase of pride looks like at the time. So that's a vernacular for this other series that we've done here at Yeshua Network. So I'm like, I've done good. I've did all the things. I deserve for you to give me this, Lord. I deserve for you to give me this, this business blessing, so that I can do it on a bigger scale. I can be a bigger blessing. So when COVID hit and I lost everything, and I mean everything, I kept my chin up, and I never talked about all this stuff I was going through, you guys. Like, some of you Googled it and you found out and you tried to bring it up as if I was keeping it a secret. I wasn't keeping it a secret. I just didn't want to pretend like I was boasting, or I didn't want to sound like I was boasting about my life. I wanted people to just focus on God. I didn't want people to focus on my career. Just like I didn't want people in the business to focus on, the fact that I was on the internet telling people, I heard from God and he told me to be a minister. Like, I separated the worlds. I didn't want them to be, meshed, because I felt like they would hurt each other. So, and I'm sure you're all having opinions about me as you're listening to this. But again, this isn't me complaining. This is me testifying and sharing something with you so that you understand the crossroads I'm at now. So I know it's long-winded, and I appreciate anybody who watches this, and I really appreciate anybody who, if you've been watching this ministry for 9 years, I can't tell you how much it means to me that you would take a second to just say hello. Because it's super crazy lonely on this side. Like, insanely lonely. I have no faces. I have no congregation. I have no choir. I have no associate pastor. It's me. It's like I have opened up groups so that you guys can minister onto one another, but I have nobody. I don't have a girlfriend. I haven't had a girlfriend since 2011 was the last time I had a legitimate girlfriend. So, I've been single, and a lot of it has to do with this ministry, because when I would go on dates, girls would find out my last name, they would Google it, and they would find Truth Me Free, and they would be like, oh my God, this guy talks to God, or he thinks he hears from God. Yeah. And I have had women, just because I think like nobody understands maybe what it's like on this side of the tracks. I have had women begin to start convulsing in fear at a restaurant, at the table, because they opened up their phone when they found out my last name at the restaurant. Like when they saw me put down my credit card to pay the bill or something, they look at the credit card, they saw my name. They would Google me, they would start to watch the video right there in front of me, and they would begin to literally convulse and shake out of fear because they thought I was some psychopath who was like gonna, like, I don't know, grab them in the alley and kill them. Like, I'm not exaggerating in any way. They shook, they cried, they threw a panic attack, like at the table. Now, granted, these are LA women. They're not used to somebody saying they hear from God, right? So, because that was the pond I was living in. I was living in LA. They weren't used to people saying that kind of stuff. Maybe for some of you in the rest of the world, that's normal. But for these ladies, it wasn't normal. So I absolutely contribute my singlehood to the ministry, massively. It is not something that anybody wants to sign up with me for when they start to date me. Eventually, they always find out about it, and it's only ends up being the reason why they don't want to be with me. So, because it's so weird, my ministry is so weird, and it's not glorious. I'm not rolling in private jets. I'm not milking this for money. So it's not like a thing where they look at it as like, oh, this guy is like Joel Osteen 2.0 or TD Jakes 2.0 or whoever, right? It's like this guy is actually donating his time, and he spends most of his time doing this. This doesn't look like a good, solid scenario for me, especially for LA chicks, right? So it was the thing I hated. And so bring you up to speed back to where we were, which is in a white truck, the one I'm sitting in now, pulling a fifth wheeler, going city to city, doing like Paul, encouraging people to bring, ministry into their own lives. And I'm doing it, and it's super blessed. And he didn't promise me that it would have, any type of result. He never said anything. He just said what I would do. He never said what the result would be. So I'm doing this like on so much just blind faith. I'm just like, I don't even know what his plan is. All I know is what I've been told to do. And all I know is that I've been told to do it with nothing. He's not promising me at any point anything for myself. He's never said I'm promised a family. He's never promised me a wife. He's never said I'm not to have one either. He's never promised me that I'd be financially taken care of. He has never said any of these things to me. He just told me to do ministry stuff. And he never said that the ministry would be successful. He just said, just do it. He did say that people would believe and that people would come to receive him because of the ministry, and that Yeshua would become more of a household name. But what I mean by successful is like any type of like, fame-ish, like kind of fame or worldly recognition, I guess you could say. That's what I'm trying to, it's hard for me to talk about this because I'm trying to explain the earthly side about a non-earthly thing, right? Because, there is this human on this side. So, I have been wanting for 20 years to get onto a property and start preparing for end times, because I've been convinced that the end times were around the corner since 2006. So for almost 20 years now, I've been literally wanting to get on a property. There was an opportunity for me to kind of work out a deal where my livelihood, where my living situation was in exchange for kind of like my services and like cleaning up the yard, things like this, right? Like somebody to just be at this property for these people, and then I can kind of grow stuff and do stuff, and they weren't being mean to me about it. They weren't like dangling a carrot like you better accomplish ABC or we're going to kick you out. It was the most amazing God-given wonderful thing, and that's where I'm at now. That's how I live now. And the thing is though is that like I live out in the boonies. And just in gasoline alone, or diesel, because I'm driving a diesel truck, just in diesel alone, I'm spending like $500 something a month. And the truth of the matter is I've been doing full on ministry for like four years now. Like, well, 2009, like, no, 4 years. What year is it? 2020. We're about to go into 2013. So yeah, or 2023. So since 2019, yeah, I've been doing literally full-time ministry, for the last 4 years, almost, roughly or so. Yeah, actually it's almost exactly 4 years. Thank you. So maybe my math is wrong. You guys will help me out. So anyways, it's been a while. Full long ministry though. I have not been able to work another job because I was on the tour, and then I was trying to find a place to live. And then as this all developed, the ministry took over my life, right? It took over my life. And so for some of you, because I know there's people, especially people who don't know me, that's why I wrote what I wrote in the description of this. Don't leave a comment telling me what to do if you don't know me. And honestly, nobody knows me on this. Nobody. But I mean, like, you haven't gotten to know me. You don't watch the videos is what I mean. I have not had a day off in 9 years, my brothers and sisters, of ministry. Not a single day off. While I was running my companies, while I was doing the gift suites for the Oscars, the Grammys, and the Emmys, and I was doing the celebrity stuff and working on movie scripts, and I also almost owned a rugby team, my race car team. Like, there was all this stuff. I had 60 employees for my alcohol company at one time. I mean, while I was doing all of that, I would at least spend 4 hours a day responding to emails and comments, or posting videos, or responding to whatever video I made. I've not really had a single day where I didn't even look. Even days where I was in the hospital, I was still posting. I was still writing. I was at least letting you guys know. So the only time that I don't post is when I'm in so much pain that I'm on like hardcore pain meds. I will not post if my brain is altered. And so those are the only days that I didn't post, right? Was when I was in so much pain, my brain was altered from the pain meds. Other than that, I have not responded to emails, not responded to comments, and not at least tried to work towards some type of video in 9 years, right? Like, and I don't know if people know that. I wonder if people just think that the only time I work is when they see me leaving a comment or when they see me make a video. And I want to explain further too, real quick, that like what it is like for me to do this work, right? Like, most of the emails that I get are like, they're never light. They're not really like lighthearted emails. They're like, hey, I think I'm going to hell. Can you help me? Well, that's, if you actually care about people's salvation, there's nowhere that conversation's going to go where if you're on this side of the camera, right, that you should take whatever that conversation is lightly, because teachers are held at a higher level of accountability, right? Whatever I say could literally affect the direction of that person's walk or relationship with God. So every time I pick up my phone, you know, most people probably think I'm texting or YouTubing or Twittering or whatever the idioms are that are out there in the social media is, right? But I'm not. I'm sitting there responding to you guys. I'm sitting there responding to the massive amounts of people, both on Truth Me Free and on Yeshua Network. And Yeshua Network, as you guys can clearly see, grew so much, I could no longer respond on Truth Me Free. Like, if you've written me on Truth Me Free and you haven't gotten a response from me, it's because I've asked everybody on Truth Me Free to come to Yeshua Network, because bouncing back and forth and trying to check all my social medias became overwhelming, because I don't have a staff, because I don't take tithes, because I don't ask for donations. Like, I don't come on a video and do a donation thing. I started posting my PayPal link, and now my Zeal link, because I'm doing this full time now. This is how I live, is donations. But I still don't ask, and I still don't mention it on videos. Like, I really don't. Unless I'm in like dire straits, like I'm not going to be able to get food, or I'm not going to be able to pay my bills or something like that. And that's how it should be for me. And I don't think that anybody on your guys' side of the camera has ever understood why it's so important to me. It's because at one time on paper, I was worth billions of dollars. Like, on paper, I had done it. I had achieved it. But I had never given myself a cent to live off of. I didn't want investors. I didn't want anybody owning what I had built. I put every penny back in. I mean, literally, like, reinvested, and it snowballed and it snowballed and it grew. And so, like, when I first started this ministry in 2013, for the first 4 years, it cost me over $480,000 to run this ministry in my time and in my efforts and what I had to put into it. $480,000 is what it cost me. That's on top of my life, like time-wise. Like, that was my going rate if you tried to hire me, right? That's how many hours I put in stuff. Now, I just stole a whole bunch of heavenly treasures telling you that information. But I feel like I just lost a whole bunch of heavenly treasures that I had blessed into the kingdom, right? By telling you that. That's my own convictions. But I feel like I'm at a crossroads in my life where I finally need to really share this stuff with you. I feel like this is the time of my life where I need to, like, share the human behind the camera and who I am, and why the asking for donations, and why the tithe thing is, I've already talked about that, but why the asking for donations and stuff is, and why me living the way I'm living while doing ministry hurts me so bad. It's because I know that I should be writing checks. I see so many of you who are writing me saying, I can't make rent this month, Nathan. I see so many of you being like, I need food for me and my kids. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this is so stupid. This is so dumb. I had it. I had the means to write everybody checks for everything they needed, and I would have never let anybody know it was me. I would have figured out ways to get the money to you guys, and, you know, we could have raised the funds, or at least pretended to raise the funds through the group here, and I could have been the one who's writing the checks instead of you guys, you know, writing checks to keep me alive, right? And so I'm okay with serving the Lord, but there's a part of me that's not okay with the fact that I have so much talent, and I have so much knowledge and so much skill sets and so much, like, resources in my brain and connections and people I know, and nothing's happening with any of it. And if I could utilize it, I could be writing the checks instead of asking for donations. So I hope this makes sense. I hope you see my heart about this. It's not, again, I'm not boasting. I may sound like I am, but I'm not. I'm not boasting. I'm saying the Lord gave me gifts and skills and I'm not using them. But how do I tell the person who writes me who's suicidal, which happens quite frequently nowadays more than ever since COVID especially, how, like, there's times where some of you will write me at 3 o'clock in the morning, and because I have a sleep issue, I'll respond. Hey, Nathan, are you there? I'm not doing well. I need you to talk to me. And I'll respond to you. And if there's anybody who wants to just say, I've been that person that wrote Nathan at 3 a.m. and he did respond and he talked to me for like 2 hours, right? So I'm not just saying this. Like, if there's anybody, you don't have to say what it was, but it would mean a lot to me if you would just say, I'm one of those people that Nathan has indeed done that. And he is available like that, like all around the clock. It would just be really good so that people don't think that this guy on this camera is just saying this stuff, right? And I think to myself, I'm like, if I was running that company, I wouldn't have been able to take some of those emails. I wouldn't have been able to talk to couples who were getting divorced or wanted to get divorced. I wouldn't have been able to talk people off of ledges or stopping themselves from shooting themselves or taking those pills and overdosing or binging or leaving their families and disappearing. Like, I think to myself, I can see why God didn't want me to have those businesses, because I would not have been able to take those calls on those days, maybe, right? But I think to myself, I could have paid an entire staff of professional people and created a hotline, right? Like, do you see how my mind's working here? Like, sure, I didn't take it, right? But I could have paid more than me, a whole bunch more of me, to do better than I feel I did by myself. And that's like the thing that I get pissed at myself about. And a part of me is like, I know that God is sovereign. I know he's right in every choice he makes, right? I do know that. Truth me free, I just didn't want to do. But after dying and going to paradise and then being sent back, it's really hard for me to ever look at God and be like, you're making a mistake. But there's a part of me that's like, now the way that the world is getting, and times are getting harder, I see more and more of you being like, I need financial help. And I don't have the ability to help you. And I know that I see the divorces happening on a much, much higher scale. And divorces, if you guys don't know, I'm sure you do, but when people get divorced, it's usually for 2 reasons. One is because of sexual incompatibility, and 2 is money. These are the top 2 reasons people get divorced. Third, I think, is now religion. Like, that's definitely what I perceive. So my thing is like, I could at least eliminate one of those, which is the financial one. That's how I'm thinking. I could have at least helped. I could have given them a job. I'm not even talking about handouts. I would have had such a big enough company. I could have provided people jobs. And so it's like, I don't feel good. Like, I don't feel like I'm being utilized by all the things that the Lord gave me. And I'm here and I'm taking care of this property, and that's how I have, my space, to live, eat, things like that. And some of you donate to me, and I'm really grateful to it. And I know that, like, many of you probably look at the numbers on this page and you see 2.6 million people and you think to yourself, like, this guy's probably making like 100,000 a month or something crazy like that. I'm not. My bank account is usually about $100 above, like, at the end of the month when all my bills are paid, my bank account bounces anywhere from $100 to like $800 in savings. That's how it's been since basically 2019, when I jumped into the truck and started going city to city. That's how it's been. And I've been able to survive. And there's a couple of you who said, Nathan, I could, I hope you guys didn't lose audio. Nathan, if you ever need a little bit, like if there's ever a little bit you need, please reach out to me. And unfortunately, I've had to do that a couple times to those people who have really made me feel safe to ask them. Instead of posting and tainting the wonderful beauty of just focusing on God, right? I'm going back to that. Hopefully you're watching this whole video, right? And you understand the reference of what I'm saying. Because the thing I dislike so much is that when you're talking about God, and the Holy Ghost is flowing and the joy is there, and you're just like, you're so enthralled with Yeshua, who's the only important part, right? Yahweh, Yeshua, the Holy Spirit, it's the only important thing. And I hate, like, after the Spirit gets flowing, that ministries will then go, yeah, so if this ministry blessed you, please write us a check or please donate or something like that. And you're like, I know why they do it, because I'm in that seat. I'm in that seat. I know why they do it, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't mess with my spirit while I'm watching it. And that's the thing. I just don't want that to happen here at Yeshua Network. I never want that to happen here at Yeshua. I never want somebody to look at my face and be getting God's message coming through, and then they're just like, oh, he just ruined it because he's talking about money, which is what I'm doing in this video. And I've had to do it a few times in videos where I talk like this about it, but I'm not like saying make a donation. This is the crossroads that I'm at. Last year in February, I was in a restaurant. I really have to hurry. Last year in February, I was at a restaurant with my cousin who came to visit me. I had not seen this cousin in 20 years. I live in a town with no stoplight. We drove about 20 minutes or so to the closest restaurant, and it's like in the middle of nowhere restaurant. And we drove to the only restaurant, and like I said, it's the closest one. It's 20 minutes away. And I'm sitting in this restaurant with my cousin, and I'm not exaggerating when I say when we walked into this restaurant, it was one of those movie record scratch where everybody stops and turns their heads and looks at the people who walked in because they're outsiders. Every single person in this restaurant knew every single person in this restaurant. So when we walked in, we were like clear as day, not from these parts, right? And one really big guy with a really big beard, looked kind of scary, got up and walked towards us. And people are like doing the whole like looking at us like this thing, and we feel super uncomfortable. Like, I'm like, as he's walking over, I lean over to my cousin. I was like, I'm either about to get beat up and we're going to get thrown out of here, or we're about to get greeted and he's going to be like the nicest guy in the world. Watch. And he comes over and he goes, you guys aren't from around here, are you? And I was just like, I can't believe that's like straight out of a movie scene. This is insane. I was like, nope. And he's like, well, where are you from? And I've already learned that people in Tennessee absolutely hate the fact that they've been taken over by Californians and New Yorkers and Floridians and all that kind of stuff, because we all came from our liberal cities and we came to these conservative states, and now these conservative states are turning liberal and they just hate us. Like, the word California in Tennessee is like the F-bomb. It's like the worst word that they want to hear. So I didn't want to lie to the guy. I was just like, from a place far, far away. That's what I said to him. And he could tell by my accent that it was California. And he goes, because I had no accent. That's what they say. They're like, oh, you have no accent, California? And I was like, yeah. And he was really cool and he was super inviting. He sat down next to us. We didn't even invite him. He just sat down next to us and he starts talking about it, like talking to us and inviting us and saying, you're welcome. We're glad to have you here. Nice to meet you guys. It was awesome. It was like, that would have never happened where I come from. You get what I'm saying? So then he introduced me to another gentleman. And this gentleman was the biggest family in this middle of nowhere place. This family that had 5 different manufacturing plants, 5 different companies, 5 different manufacturing plants. They literally employ 80% of the people in this area. And this gentleman is in the restaurant. This one time I'd been to this place because my cousin wanted to go. I didn't want to go. She wanted to go, so we went. So we go, and the reason I'm telling this story is because this brought me to my current crossroads. This gentleman with the beard who came up to us says, you need to meet this other guy who's here tonight, and he's never here. You need to meet him, saying that to me, because he got a quick little background story of me, of where I came from and what I was doing before I moved here to Tennessee. So I go and I introduce the guy. 60 seconds later, the guy goes, how do you feel about giving back to the community? Now, I don't have anything financially to give back, but I had already made the plan in my heart to go talk to the local mayors and the government folks. I was scheduling appointments to go talk to the mayors and the government to find out what the programs were of how I could give back to the community now that I lived here. And this guy, I told him that that's how I feel. This was 60 seconds after meeting me. And he goes, well, we've put together a committee of leaders to help bring this community out of poverty, because there are people here, 40% of the population is unemployed, and they're literally like starving. They can't pay their rents. Like, it's really bad. And I'm like, oh my God, that's horrible. Like, I come from LA where, like, just to survive in LA, you honestly need to make around $180,000 a year. So it's like, to hear that like people are on average making like $24,000 a year, or, like literally can't afford food. And I was like, this is insane. And I've obviously been there before. If you know, I've been homeless before, but the amount of people in one solid area, I honestly didn't think that was happening in America. And he goes, yeah, so we're putting together this leadership committee. We've only met twice. There's going to be something like 40 meetings. We would really appreciate it. You know, if more people like you got involved, I might be able to get you on the committee. Would you like to come tomorrow night? And I was like, all right, sure. So I went with them, and lo and behold, they invited me. They asked me to be a part of the committee. I sat with the committee for the entire term, and they had these three major issues. One was food security because of the whole COVID thing, jobs, and then trash. Like, their trash, they have no landfill. There's not many landfills in Tennessee because nobody wants a landfill in their backyard. So there's not very many landfills in Tennessee, and all the communities send their trash to a place. Well, I was like, well, this is weird, because in my alcohol life, in my LA life, I met some of the world leading, like, scientists, experts, marketing guys, and like environmentalists. And it was not something I had it was not something I woke up and said, one day I want to do this. It was just that I had these people around, and I love learning about anything and everything to the fullest that I can possibly learn it. And as I was sitting in on these meetings, I realized that these people have been working on these problems that they have for 20 years. That's what they told me. 20 years they had these problems. And I had the answer by the third meeting I went to. And I was like, I could fix this problem for them. I have the solution. So I met with the mayor privately, and I said, listen, I'm going to give you the secret to your success for free. I don't want anything for it. I'm not going to charge you. And mind you, my bank account is like, not really loaded. It's like $100, to $800 a month, right? So I could have charged them for this. I could have said, but I want my percentage, or you have to pay me for it. But I didn't. I was like, this is the solution to the problem. Like, I felt like the reason why God wanted me to be there on that day at that restaurant at that time was to be part of this committee and help them. So I said, here, you take it, you do it for free. And he's like, we can't do that. We don't know how to do that. And I was just like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, find somebody who can. And he's like, no, you have to do it. I'm like, no, not me. I can't do it. That's not why I'm here. I got ministry, and I have to run this property that I'm living on. And I was like, I can't do that. That's not. No, I just joined to try to help out. This is my help. I'm an idea guy. He's like, no, you have to do it. So then I went to the head of the committee, this woman, and I said, listen, I talked to the mayor already. I already told him, but here's the solution to the problem. And everybody agrees it was an actual solution to the problem. And they're like, yeah, but you have to do it. I was like, no. And I didn't tell the committee. I only told the person who was head, and I told the mayor. And I pulled them aside privately, each, at different times. And then we're on like the 28th meeting or something like that. 50% of the committee had quit. People were leaving. Out of 40 people, we were down to 12 on this particular meeting. It was like I said, it was like the 28th meeting or something. Like, we were down to 12 people. And nobody had any solutions. Nobody could agree on how to do anything. I had never told my idea the entire time. I was just trying to be humble, and I took a back seat. And the next thing you know, the woman who was head of the committee literally stood up, hit her hands on the table, and said, Nathan, will you please just tell everybody your ideas? And I was like, no, you tell them. She's like, Nathan, you have to tell them. Look, we're losing people. And at that moment, 4 people were walking out the door. We're now down to 8 people out of 40 because nobody could agree. And so I'm like, fine. So I told the idea thinking they were going to hate that it was coming from the California guy. And they were like, oh my God, that is the idea. Like, that's a great idea. This is fantastic. You got to do it. And I'm like, no, not me. You guys do it. This isn't like I didn't wake up one day because this was my dream. It wasn't like I had this idea to make this business, to do this thing because like I wanted to get rich or something like that. I was like, this is just me helping the community and helping people, get jobs and get fed and get hungry, like, feed them and give them shelter, like all the things the Bible tells us to do. I was like, I'm not trying to do this as like my business. I have the ministry. And I was stuck at a rock and a hard place because I'm like, I can't not do this now because now they've heard about it. And I believe that the Lord sent me here. And I kept praying, and there was all these different things where I was fleecing the Lord again in this situation. And every time I fleeced him, he would show up. He would be like, yeah, this is me. So I'm coming to this point where I created this company, which you guys, mostly of you know, is called Symbiosis. And I got all these amazing, impossible things lined up. Impossible. I got my first government contract. Others counties want me to help them as well. Now there's a gentleman at the state level who wants me to do it statewide and all this stuff. But the thing is that it will take my time. Like, there's no way to do this on a small scale. And then, you know, there's people who are trying to advise me, well, just do it on a small scale. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. If I do it on a small scale, I'll be making no money, or even like just hardly getting by, which is what I'm doing now. And I'd rather be doing ministry than, and symbiosis to me is ministry, but I'd rather be doing ministry than be doing symbiosis on a small scale, because it's only going to help so many people, and I'm helping a lot more people here in ministry. So I'm like, I'm resisting doing symbiosis the same way I was resisting doing Truth Me Free, because symbiosis would take me now away from Yeshua Network. So, but it would also give me the finances that I could do all the things for Yeshua Network that I've always dreamt of doing. Like, if I do it on a big scale, if the Lord would bless it and do it on a big scale, then I could do all the things I ever wanted to do and more than what the alcohol company could have done. The company I have now, the Symbiosis idea, is way bigger, like way bigger than the alcohol company was. It's probably, I can't imagine, honestly, in an earthly sense, doing a job that's more earthly important, right? Not spiritually. I'm talking about like earthly. And that's a whole other video I've already made about, but it's extremely important, and it's very real. And it's, I mean, I'll show you guys just because I want people to understand. Let me show you something. This little vial right here, this little vial has a fluid in it that could literally make it so automobiles, this truck can run off of this, but so could your gasoline car, right? This is just one of like 20 things that I could do, right? So if you go to the gas pumps now and you're paying $5 or $7 or whatever for diesel, this could make that significantly less, and this is good for the environment. This doesn't hurt the environment. You could burn this in any automobile, airplane, train, boat, anything, and it won't hurt the environment. It's green. It's already EU certified green, and it's already United Nation carbon approved, which means you'll get carbon tax credits for using it. It's already approved. Like, it's already done. So, like, that's insane. It's already there, but the public doesn't know about it yet. I haven't gone on the news and told the world about it because I'm not convinced that I have it in me to do it, because the Lord has broken me so bad with my alcohol company. I am so beat up, you guys. I am so distraught. I am so overwhelmed. I'm so tired. I haven't had a day off in 9 years, from suicide talks, divorce talks, I'm going to hell talks, I'm not prepared for the end of the world talks. Every day, all day long, right? Making videos, trying to be focused and serve the Lord, you know, and now this, like, I have no more gas in the tank. Every time I make a video, it's the Holy Spirit coming through. There's nothing of Nathan left. There's nothing of me left. Everything, my, like, worldly wise, it died with my company, my alcohol company. Like, I got nothing left. And then my RV crashed in a water gully in the middle of the night. And that was like what little tiny bit I had of the world died that day. So, like, I got nothing left. And so it's like, I don't know how to go from here, because I'm not surviving. Like, literally, I'm not surviving anymore now because of the, like, market crash, or what, the economy, the gas prices. I'm not able to make it. Like, I'm not making it. And I know some of you are like, well, you could get a part-time job. I don't know what I'd get a part-time job doing where I live, which means I'd have to relocate and go to a city. And if I got a part-time job, I don't know why I would do that when I'm literally holding the formula that could get every automobile off of fossil fuels. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? Like, why would I go work at Starbucks when I'm literally carrying around the replacement to fossil fuels for the entire planet, right? But if I do that, right, I don't know how I'm going to do this. So, like, I don't know. I literally don't know. And I'm so tired. Like, I'm praying right now that I'm going to take 40 days off of Yeshua Network, where I just need a break. It's been 9 years every day for me. And the Lord has been my strength, like, the whole time, guys. Like, every day. And I don't want anybody to feel bad about the emails you've written me, or, you know, me walking you through your struggles. Like, it's my blessing. Like, it's the joy. It's the only joy I have in the Lord is you guys, is the ministry. That's it. It's all I have. Right. But it's just like, I don't like for 40 days, I need to know, like, none of you are going to hurt yourselves. I need to know that for 40 days, none of you are going to get divorced. I need to know that for 40 days, you know, none of you are going to, you know, just self-destruct. And I know the Lord is all, you know, Nathan Wheeler has nothing to do with your life. But in order for me to, like, trust and relax and to be able to, like, take my first breather in 9 years, like, could you imagine working with, like, suicides and divorces and damnation? Like, could you imagine doing that every single day for 9 years straight, minus the days you yourself are in the hospital? Like, could you imagine? Like, I'm not complaining. I just don't know if people understand, like, what I'm doing on this side, and how delicate I treat Yeshua Network, and how much I protect it, and how much it's important to me that, like, we don't breed bad ego here, that we don't breed the same type of clickiness and stuff like that. And we don't do it. None of the bad stuff happens here at Yeshua Network that happens in church. Like, it's so important to me that Yeshua Network just remain as polished as it can be. I'm flawed. This has gone off the rails a few times, but by the grace of God, he's allowed me to bring it back. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, it's super not easy. And I'm not saying I can't continue to do it. The Lord obviously will do it, whatever it is that he decides. But I'm not sustaining, I'm not able to do it. And I only see two options. I break the purity of what has been Yeshua Network and Truth Me Free Ministries, where I've not been asking for donations. I break that, and I have to think of a way to start asking for donations. And I want to create programs, as I had said in a recent video, to like help, like, widows and children and orphanages and, like, the homeless and prison ministries. Like, we don't do any of that here, and Christ very clearly commanded it, right? And I understand we're an online ministry and we don't take tithes, so there's not like a guaranteed budget that rolls in every month, right? And so I don't know, I know some of you are thinking, like, well, God should be talking to you about this, or you should have this message from God, especially being with your background and your experience with God. And you're right. I believe I should have already heard from him too. He's talked to me about all sorts of stuff and told me all sorts of stuff way in advance before it ever happened. But right now, he's not talking to me. And I just don't know if he's wanting me to make the choice. But if he wants me to make the choice, I will choose Yeshua Network. I won't choose Symbiosis. Even though Symbiosis could make me a billionaire, literally, I won't choose it, because I don't want to go to an office and make money. And I don't want to have to deal with politicians and corruption. And I don't want to have to drive around in bulletproof cars. I don't want to have to think about, lobbying in Washington, D.C. and all these other countries. Like, there's a part of me that doesn't want to do this. Like, that's the level of the stuff that I'd have to do to make this happen. You're talking about basically putting the gasoline companies out of business, right? Like, wars are fought about this, and I'm carrying this stuff in my car to, like, put them out of business right now. Like, today, it could be done. So, like, the level of, like, how my life would change from that is intense. And as much as I would love to finally be financially, like, well off, and I would definitely make choices differently this time, I would definitely not reinvest every single penny. I would actually take a salary for myself, and be okay. It's not something I'm looking forward to, but I do see it as a ministry. I do see that, the red heifers have arrived to Jerusalem. I do see that the temple could literally go up in 2024. And I do see that food security is important. I do see that fuel security, heat, electricity is important. I do see that jobs are important. I see that the world needs jobs. The world needs food. And I have the ability to literally help that. Like, I have that ability in me. For whatever reason, God bestowed it inside of me. But I don't have the energy. And I don't have, like, if I had success with my alcohol company, and I had at least a couple $100 million, right? Like I should have absolutely had if COVID didn't happen. I would absolutely have by this time. Literally, I'm not exaggerating. I would have that right now. And then if God wanted me to do this, it would make sense because I could hire the staff, build the buildings. There would be people with millions of dollars lined up or billions of dollars lined up to invest in things like this. It would make sense. But right now, I have like $100 to $800 on my bank account. It's like, this doesn't make sense. I don't know how to do this. And now I'm sitting, once again, I have like a talent. I have a thing inside of me that's going to waste. And people are going to go hungry. And the oil companies are going to continue to jack up the prices. And it's going to affect supply chains. It's going to affect food arriving on the store shelves. And I'm thinking to myself, am I being selfish because I won't do this? And it would save lives. What I have inside of me would save lives, which also then could be a tool for ministry, because I know me, I would attach anything I do, I'd attach the Lord to it. I attach the Lord to my alcohol company. So I know I'd for sure attach the Lord to this. We're feeding people and saving lives. Like, that's literally gospel right there. So I'm wondering, like, am I being selfish by not wanting to do that? And so these are the crossroads in which I'm at, and they are not small crossroads, right? Do I ignore the emails of suicides because I'm trying to feed people and create food stability and trying to save people that are starving? Like, there's lives at risk for me, from my experience. There's lives at risk on both sides of these tracks, you guys. And I don't see from you. I don't hear from a lot of you. Most of you, I don't hear from you. You know, it's like this whole thing is just, it's really strange. And I've tried to do my best, and I've tried to be my best at serving you and ministering to you and pointing you to the truth as raw, as pure, as ethical as possible. And I've tried to inspire you to pick up your own mantles and things like that and pick up your own ministries. I've tried to provide you outlets for you to have ministry here. And, you know, a lot of you have done great with it, and you've done things with it. It's just that, like, I want you to understand the tornado that I'm in now. And as my post said, this will affect this crossroads I'm at will affect, because I'll either have to start asking for donations or figure out some type of way, because I can't go to work at Starbucks or something like that, when that would take me away from these emails where I'm serving you. And I'm already behind on emails. Some of you have said, how come you've never responded to me? There's a lot of people here. It's really hard for me to keep up with them. And again, I'm by myself. There's no staff at Yeshua Network. There's me. Alex shows up, you know, and there's some people that take their own ministry from this ministry, and God bless them, because they make this ministry far more rich, and you each know who you are. And thank you for doing that. You have helped me in more ways than my words will ever be able to express. And maybe now you'll understand that how much you helped me from me sharing these details, because I'm a broken person. The Lord has absolutely broken me, absolutely destroyed me with the loss of my company and my hope, and humbled me. For some of you who also say, like, you just want to be famous, or you just want to, like, you have no idea how unfamous I am because of this ministry. Like, you have no idea, like, where I was before and what I've lost because of the ministry. And I know that those are treasures in heaven, but it's such a funny thing to get, like, verbal jabs from people who think that I'm this minister online trying to be like a bookseller or a DVD seller or whatever to make money off of ministry. And, like, it's so the exact opposite. I could have done that stuff in a worldly sense. And the ministry cost me a lot of that. But the ministry is also my lifeline. It's also my heartbeat. It's also the air in my lungs. I can't change that out either. And the thing that's really different about this video, you guys, is this isn't a video that, like, the Lord put on my heart. And you can probably tell how absolutely different this video is from any other probably video I've ever made. Even my Truth Me Free series I don't talk like this in it. This video is me, the human being, coming to you as raw and as honest as I possibly can, to just let you know that I don't know what I'm going to do at this point. I don't know how it's going to go, but I want you to know that whatever it is that I end up choosing, or whatever it is that the Lord ends up telling me, because that's really the only one I want to do, is whatever he tells me. I just want you to know my heart behind it. And I want there to be a video that you guys can copy and paste the link to, this one, and tell people, like, this is what this guy is doing. You may think he's doing it for money, or you may think he's doing it for fame. No matter which way it is, like, because if I start asking for donations here, people are going to be like, see, he's doing it for money. He gave in. And I feel it would taint Yeshua Network. And if I start doing symbiosis, there's gonna be people saying, look, he was doing ministry before, and now he's this guy doing all this stuff. It's like, I feel like I'm damned both ways I go. Like, I feel like I'm screwed both ways I go. I don't know how to get out of this mess. And so that's where I'm at. These are the pickles I have. And there needs to be a change for me too, because I'm burning the candle at both ends and I don't have much candle left. And we have a lot more of EBRT to go. So I don't mean to dump on you. And you know, the reason why I think this has all gotten to a boiling point for me too, is because of the thing we just went through, where my buddy Alex almost quit doing EBRT. And a lot of people were writing me being like, I can't handle this news. I can't handle, you know, the weight of where the ministry has gotten to. It's too much for me. I don't know how to deal with it. And I had to deal with more emails that were heavy than I have ever had to deal with before. At the same time, my brother wrote me a text message, wouldn't answer his phone, and told me he was suicidal and he was going to kill himself, like multiple nights in a row, multiple weeks in a row. And then one night he wrote me, he says, I'm doing it tonight. I can't take it anymore. And he didn't return my call. He never returned my call. I don't know if he's sitting there laying dead. I have absolutely no idea. I have no family members that will reach out to me. I have nobody who will tell me. I have no contact with any of his friends. For all I know, my brother's sitting there dead, right? And I have to put on a smiley face, and I have to find my joy in the world. I have to find my joy in serving you. That's the only joy I have. And to me, this is a joy into heaven, not a joy on earth. And so, like, you know, this is right now. All this happened at the exact same time. And now I have these people who are literally locally are saying, hey, are you going to do this thing? Our farm needs it. Hey, are you going to do this thing? Look at the gas prices. Hey, are you going to do this thing? We need jobs. Look, there's no food. Are you going to do something about this? So it's like, it just doesn't, to me, it just doesn't make sense what the Lord is doing, because he's chosen, in my opinion, the wrong guy. Again, he chose the wrong guy again, like he did with Truth Me Free. But there's a part of me that, since I have Truth Me Free under my belt, and I've seen the blessings he has done with it, but he didn't provide me a way to, like, really financially, you know, keep a girlfriend or have a family of my own, and I'm not getting younger. I've lost basically hope on that. And you know, there's like all these things, and like, I'm taken care of. He gives me, specifically as the Bible says, he gives us what we need, and he's provided me what I need. But the thing is if I did symbiosis and it failed, like, even if it had some success, but then, like, let's just say, like, I don't know, one of my stations got bombed, or my company got bombed or blown up or attacked or something like that. Like, I just don't know if I could handle it. Like, I just don't know if I could, because, like, I've already lost more than I think I could ever tell people. Like, I don't think people understand how much I've lost. And I've never talked about this. Not like this. I have not ever talked about this. But this is the person this is the human on the other side. And so it's like, I have to figure this out. And real quick, I want to mention one more thing. I'm totally running over my time, and we're about to go into EBRT here soon. There's something I want to address also in this video, and I'm putting it at the end so it's not like the video. On the tour that I did with the RV, there was a stop where there was only women at this particular meetup. And when I got picked up from the airport, there was a plan. There were 6 women that I have come to know in real life, not just online, but come to know because they were at other meetups. At least I think 4 of them were. I've gotten to know these 4 women in real life. There's like 5 of them that I've gotten to know in real life. And at this meetup, I was being picked up at the airport, and the plan is that we would all go out to dinner. I got there like, the day before the meetup officially started, the weekend event started, and we were going to go out to dinner and just hang out. And this was a common thing now in this. And one person picked me up instead of like the group. And this one person picked me up, and it was a person I didn't feel comfortable being picked up by, not alone. It was a woman. And this person had me in their car, and we were driving, and I continuously asked this person to please text everybody else, because nobody has my number, because I have to protect it. Like, I can't give it out because people would just blow it up all the time, and I would never sleep. So I asked this person to please reach out to everybody else and find out what we're doing for dinner. And they would pick up their phone, and they would look like they're text messaging the people. And I'm driving in the car from the airport to my hotel, which is like an hour away. And then we have to go another half hour from my hotel to the Airbnb where the other women are staying. I don't know what's happening with them. All I know is I'm in the car with one woman, and as a minister, it's not a good thing. It doesn't look good. And it's not a person I feel comfortable being alone with. And so we go up to my hotel. She drops me off. She says he has to use the restroom. She uses the restroom. Then we leave immediately. Like nothing happened. She used the restroom. I'm out the door before she is. Like, I drop my bags off. I'm out the door. She's in there in the hotel going bathroom. I'm already outside. I'm not waiting in the hotel with her. So she comes out, we get in the car, and then she tells me, I keep asking her, what is everybody saying about dinner? And she says, oh, I don't know. They're not getting back to me. And I'm like, why are they not getting this is not normal. Normally we all meet up and we all go to dinner beforehand. This is weird. So I'm like, well, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten. It's now been 8 hours since I haven't eaten. And I was like, well, can we just stop by somewhere then and we can get something to eat? And she's like, yeah, where do you want to go? I was like, I don't care. Just get on Google and let's just pick the place closest to us. So we go to a Mexican restaurant and we eat. And when we ate, I felt uncomfortable. I felt like it was not two brothers and sisters eating. I felt like for one person, it was something more. And that one person wasn't me. And so I felt very uncomfortable, and I had clearly believed that I had made it known that I was not interested in this person. And this person, we get back in the car and we drive the other half hour back to the Airbnb, where the other 5 women are in the Airbnb, and they're sitting there waiting for us as if wondering why we haven't reached out to them. And I cannot tell you how many times I asked, why are they not getting back to us? And she's doing this on her phone as if she's texting them. Turns out she was never texting them. So we walk in, and it had been 4 hours since this woman left to go pick me up at the airport. And these women are all looking at us like we had just done something, if you know what I mean. And I knew exactly what was happening. And I had the opportunity to throw this woman under the bus and just totally call her out on what was happening. And I look over at her because they're all yelling. They're some of them look like they're on the verge of crying. And they're saying to the sister who had picked me up from the airport, why haven't you returned any of our text messages? Remind you. So let me put this into context. I'm in this car for an hour and a half, going through traffic, and feeling very uncomfortable. And she's saying, I'm texting them, they're not getting back to me while she's driving, right? She's texting, she's saying, I don't know, they're not getting back to me. Okay, we walk into the Airbnb where the other women are sitting there for 4 hours waiting to hear back from her. And they're like, how come you're not responding to any of our text messages? One of them was the owner of the car we were in. And she goes, how do I know you didn't get in a car accident? Why didn't you just text me and let me know you guys were safe? We're supposed to do dinner. And I'm sitting there being like, what the heck? They're mad because we didn't get back to them because we were supposed to do dinner. When I got picked up, my first words were, where's everybody? We're supposed to do dinner. So it ended up being just me and this other woman, and we're having dinner, and it was not just a normal dinner. It seemed like it was trying to be something else, and I made it very clear that's not my interest. But these other women, when we walked in, I could tell that they were not okay, that they had perceived that something went down. And here's the reason why I want to address this. It's because this is a thing that also, this is the type of stuff I deal with that I never talk about. I can't talk about it. It's not something I would normally talk about. As a minister online, I have been threatened with blackmail. I have had people say they'll tell lies about me, make like fake text messages and pictures of me. I've had people say if I don't give them $50,000 in like 24 hours, they're going to post bad stuff all over the page and all this kind of stuff. And my answer is, for anybody watching with that idea, my answer is go ahead and do it. I don't have $50,000. Just because I have 2.6 million subscribers, I'm like one of the people who's not rich. So I don't know what you think you're going to get out of me. I'm not a rich minister. So I don't know what you think you're going to get out of me. So here I am in this situation at this meetup. And these women, I could tell were thinking the worst of me, which means they were thinking the worst of this ministry. And I still didn't throw this woman under the bus. And I'm still not technically throwing this woman under the bus because I'm not giving her name. And anybody who knows, if you were at this event and you were one of these people, please do not post this woman's name. I'm not looking to shame anybody. It's just that I have been hoping that she would come forth and explain publicly what happened that day. And I don't know if she ever did explain it to any of those women in that day. I don't know if she ever said, hey, it was me who wasn't getting back to you. Hey, nothing happened with me and Nathan. He made it clear that that's not what he wanted. In fact, I know she actually has been telling people the opposite. I know that she's been presenting herself as my significant other or my other half here on the ministry. I've made videos clearly telling everybody I do not have another half, neither male nor female. Yet many people write me and go, hey, you know, blah, 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 who's your other half? And I'm like, who's telling you that? Because it sure as heck ain't me. And so this is all boiled up to the point where I can't let this go anymore. I've asked this person to be public and make this all clear. They have not. And those women have treated me different ever since that day. The other women in that room, they've all treated me different since that day. And one of them stopped talking to me altogether. And she only recently made a comment on this ministry. She used to be very active. She's just such a great sister. And I saw the hurt in her eyes the entire weekend. She said maybe 2 words to me. And she was the woman whose car we were driving. And I was like, I don't know why this person would think that what they think happened would happen. Like, I don't understand why people would think that of me. And I never had the chance to talk to her. I never had the chance to talk to any of those women that day and explain to them what they thought happened, didn't happen. I was hoping the woman who picked me up would have done the explaining, and she did not. And there's a part of me that that is so hurt by it all because it affected Yeshua Network image. It's not the Nathan Wheeler image. It affected the Yeshua Network image, which therefore affects the Yeshua image, right? And I don't know what rumor mill is going on around there, but I know one thing. Ever since that day happened, I've gotten text messages or whatever, messages through Messenger here on Facebook of people saying, hey, you know, this other woman, we know that she's your other half. Or this other woman, gosh, you guys would make such a great couple, or do make such a great couple. And I'm like, I'm really upset that that's even being talked about, because that's never been the case. That's been the exact opposite. And it really boils my blood because people also use the same sentence as if they're reading from a script. Yeah, she's the female version of you. And she's so not the female version of me because I protected her, still am protecting her, now as I even make this video to clear my name. And I also, I took it. That whole meetup was weird. It was awkward. I was one guy and a whole bunch of women. None of the men got to show up. And most of the time, I didn't do any talking. And at most meetups, I do a lot of talking and there's Q&A. At this particular meetup, it seemed to me nobody wanted to talk to me. And so I just sat there. I couldn't go to the airport without one of them driving me to the airport. I didn't feel like that anybody wanted me there. I felt like they just saw me as this total dirt bag who like was using his online fame or whatever people perceive of me to basically get into somebody's pants or something like that. And I was so crushed by it, and I was so angry by it, not because of me, but because of the image of how it would affect what God has given me, which is Yeshua Network. And the amount of effort and the amount of what I have gone through and sacrificed to protect this and to keep this pure and to keep this a thing that glorifies the name Yeshua, it makes me so mad that people would then say, yeah, the female version of you, to the person who would allow it to have that level of taint on it. So again, I do not want this person shamed. But I do want to make it very clear that nothing happened that day. This is what happened that day. And I've given this person multiple times, a long time, a year, to correct the wrong that had been done. They had not done it. And so this is me. Like, I'm just putting, this is Nathan. You're hearing from Nathan. This is Nathan speaking. And I wanted to get all this out because I need to do like a 40 days in the desert and just sit with God. And I need you all to know why. This is what Nathan the human is dealing with on this side, along with a whole bunch of other stuff. So I do ask that you continually lift me up. I do ask that you just send an encouraging word. And if I'm gone for a little while, I will give you a heads up. I will be back before January. We are doing EBRT tonight. I'll be back before January, and on January 1st, we're going to start a new 40-day holiness challenge, a repost of it, because I think it's the best time of year to do it. There's no holidays that should disrupt anybody or throw you off, and it's something that's really important. So, if there's anything in the rumor mill about anybody representing me, if there's anything out in the rumor mill of Yeshua Network where there's somebody that Nathan is ordained or Nathan has stamp of approved or anything like that, the answer is no. I will say this. There's two people that I would like to give recognition to, okay? This is not me ordaining them. I'd like to give recognition to Jim Hogg, who does video clips of me, and he never has ever put me in a bad light, even when he's doing funny videos. I'd like to give him recognition because I trust Jim Hogg with editing. I've even given him his own group, which is on Truth Me Free, which is Nathan Wheeler Q&As, to do any video cuts of me he wants. I've never trusted anybody with that. I trust him to do video clips of me. I do. And he has always done honorably and functioned honorably. The other person is there's a person I'd like to give a shout out to, and it's Lynn D. She has been around for a long time, and she has supported me, and she was one of the first people to step up to the plate when my RV crashed, and she rallied a lot of people around to really help out with the ministry. And Lynn has a very solid understanding of my heart, and she's a very solid understanding of what I will like approve and what I wouldn't, right? And she may not be perfect, right? Like, I'm not perfect. She may not be perfect in that, and I'm not stamp of approving her. But what I am saying is that if you've heard from multiple different people and they have had multiple different opinions, and Lynn has said something contrary to the popular belief, I will tell you now, when I watch the videos back, I agree with Lynn. And when Lynn says Nathan wouldn't want that, as far as I know, she's been right. If she says Nathan would want this, as far as I know, she's been right. So she really has gotten to know me. She understands my heart, and Jim has never dishonored me or done anything wrong in regards to like with the trust I've given him. Outside of that, you guys, I don't know you guys well enough to really say, but I do want to give credit. And I know there's many of you who have stepped up to the plate. There's many of you who have helped out. There's many of you who have rallied and done videos and conferences, and I want to honor every single one of you. I do. But the other thing is that I also do watch the videos. I watch the Zoom calls. I listen in because they're recorded. I listen in. I don't want to be a part of them live because then it will be about me, and I don't want that. I want you guys to have your own fellowship, but I still see a lot of ego. I still see a lot of me monstering going on. There's a lot of people like not really trying to bring everybody else's to the conversation, and it's like, there's a reason why we do EBRT the way we do it. There's a reason why we're reading your comments, right? I want you to talk more than me. I know I soapbox ever since we started doing the New Testament. But the thing is I gave the entire Old Testament like over to you. I gave it over to you guys because it's more important to me that you speak. It's more important to me that you share. And now we're finally sharing what I believe is the right way. And I also want to apologize for any type of culture that was created during EBRT. I've already apologized, but I'm just going on the record here in this video that kind of cover it all. The mic drop stuff created an issue where egos were hurt. And it created a thing where people sought out the mic drops. I saw that. I warned against it before it ever happened. I was the one who stopped it. I was the one who stopped the mic drops. I was the one who then declared the mic drops were not allowed anymore. Like, I saw it happening, and I thought it would correct itself. And that's the final thing I wanted to say I'm sorry on. I don't know how to balance this thing where I don't know how to, I never want to ordain anybody. I never want to put a stamp on anybody and say, I, Nathan Wheeler, have approved this person. I don't believe in that. I don't think that's right. I know that they do it in the Bible, and I understand why they did it, but I actually disagree with that behavior. I'm not saying that, they don't say that God told them to do that. They admit, the writers in the Bible admit that they're doing it because humans in the body of Christ is broken. They do not say that Christ told them to do that. And so I don't want to do that. I don't want to ordain. I do not want to do this man-made ordain thing. I do not want Yeshua Network to become a new denomination or even a new, church-ish denomination. I just don't want that. That's not what the Lord put on my heart. I believe a good shepherd points directly to Yeshua. I believe a good shepherd points directly to the source, which is the Bible, and they step out of the way. That's my persuasion. But all this, in my hands off, I see messes all over the place. I see egos all over the place. I see there's mayhem in the groups and in the chats, and egos and people vying for position and saying, well, when Nathan's not here, I'm in charge of this. When Nathan's not here, I'm in charge of that. Oh, well, I'm going to step up and fill this void that Nathan has left. And it's like, I felt like I already explained this, but that goes against everything I'm teaching. That goes against everything I represent. And I love you who have the enthusiasm to step up and say, I'm going to fill this void. But the truth of the matter is that you shouldn't be filling a void here at Yeshua Network. If you want to invite people over to your other ministry, to have your own ministry, I encourage that. But Yeshua Network should just be a place where people come to fellowship. That's the environment I'm trying to set. That's the environment I believe God bestowed on me to set. A place where everybody can fellowship and we're all equal brother and sister, including myself. I'm not pastor. I'm not rabbi. I'm brother. I'm brother Nathan. I'm a human being who has his own mess ups and his own psychological issues because of all the hurt and the pain and the things that have broken him. And my only joy is that I'm going home to the Lord one day, and whatever brokenness I have will be mended then. That's me. That's who I am. And so if you are a person who thinks that you need to step up to the plate, if I were to die tomorrow or whatever and I was gone, I want it to be said for the record, nobody is to replace me. Because the whole idea is I'm trying to replace me with all of you. So if somebody comes in to replace me, then that's counterintuitive to the whole thing. My goal is to have the entire body rise up equal and lift each other up and do exactly as the Bible says. Consider everybody else more significant than yourself, right? I hope I have now demonstrated through my backstory, the stuff you guys don't know about, that I do indeed consider Yeshua Network more significant than myself. Does that make sense? I really hope you see that in this video, right? So I pray that if you have a heart for ministry and that Yeshua Network blesses you, that you will lift up others. You will encourage others to speak more than you. You will lift up others to pray more than you. But you will be the encourager. But that also means that when your brothers and sisters ask you to testify, you do testify. If your brothers and sisters ask you to pray for them, you do pray for them. If your brothers and sisters ask you to minister onto them, you minister onto them. I think that's the other thing. It's like this. It's like it's two extremes. Well, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to be egotistical. If your brothers and sisters are seeking you, just as you guys seek me, if you ask me a question, if you seek after me, I serve you. I will serve you for 6 hours at a time in a Q&A because you are more significant to me than me, right? So if you are here in this ministry and brothers and sisters are saying, will you guide me? If they ask you, then bless them with your services and your knowledge. Always pointing them to Christ though, not encouraging them to come back to you. I do not encourage you guys to come back to me. I always encourage you to go to Bible. And it is only out of the Holy Spirit or out of respect of your own that you do keep coming back to me and saying, Nathan, will you continue to minister on to me? That's how it should be, in my opinion. And that is what we have here in the core group that we have, the people that are active here. And if that sounds like something that you guys would like to be a part of, and you're sitting here watching these videos, that's what is here. That is what I protect. That is what I fight for. That is what I serve here in this ministry. And I welcome you to become part of it. And I welcome you to get involved. And I welcome you to become a brother or sister that will increase the blessing of this. Join us tonight at EBRT, Entire Bible Read Through on Wednesdays. But on top of that, if you also have a brother and sister who are being me monsters, if they're talking all the time or they're not talking about God and the video calls are supposed to be about God, say, hey, this is not what we're supposed to be doing here. And you can blame me. I'm putting it out there. You can now blame me. You can say, even though I don't like this, I realize that there's too much mayhem going on here. You can now say this is not what Nathan says is supposed to be going on. This is the one spot where I feel okay that I hate to say it, but it's kind of like a necessary evil. You can say Nathan doesn't want that happening here. Nathan doesn't like it when we speak for 10 hours and the rest of us in the group are just quiet and listening to you talk the whole time. If they want to do a video, they can welcome people to come do a video like I'm doing and people can watch them. But if it's a group chat, if it's a group, fellowship, everybody needs to be participating. And if there's somebody who says, I'm not comfortable, I'm shy, I don't want to participate, fine. But you should still, somebody should be like, hey, are you still wanting, do you not want to contribute? Do you want to participate? No? Okay, fine. You don't guilt them about it, but if they want to, then you give them an opportunity to. You know what I mean? So I feel like I need to set that rule. And I have not wanted to set rules, but I realize the mayhem that has been created by me not setting rules. And I do want to say one last, I want to reiterate, there is nobody in this entire body of Christ, there is nobody on planet Earth that I think anybody should go to other than Christ in the Bible, including myself. So if there is anybody ever in this ministry that says the words, Nathan agrees with me, Nathan is, Nathan has said that I'm right about this, or Nathan said that I was to take over on this, if they said Nathan was this or that, I'm telling you right now, they're lying. They're lying. It's not the truth. It's a no. I do not. No. Lynn has defended me, and Jim has honored me with his video clips. Lynn knows what I would do, what I wouldn't do, right? And she's good at knowing like the type of energy and the love and the servitude. She's good at knowing that. So I guess I'm kind of ordaining her, but I'm not ordaining her. I'm just saying, if you've heard all the brothers and sisters bickering, and you've ever heard the sentence of Nathan wouldn't like that, or somebody's like, you don't know what Nathan would like. I'm telling you, I've watched your videos, I've looked back, and Lynn is right. She's right. I want more servitude and less like, let me tell you about the Bible stuff. Let me tell you about what I know. Let me tell you what's right and how you're wrong. Less of that. More encouraging, like what we're doing on EBRT. And if you don't know what that should look like, tune into an entire Bible read through series. Tune into the 40-day holiness challenge, and I believe you will see. I vomited all my drama on you guys in this video. I hope that you will really understand what's on my shoulders of what I'm asking you to pray for. And I really hope that no matter what the Lord tells me to do, you will perceive that I am still waiting on the Lord. I am not moving. I'm not making a choice out of my flesh, no matter which way it goes, okay? If I end up one day having to ask for donations, not tithes, donations on Yeshua Network, it's because I have to. I have to. And I know I speak against that, but when I started this, I had a business. I was able to finance it. Now the emails are so, the ministry's so big and it's so abundant, I have to do it full time or it's going to fall away. So if I end up doing symbiosis, it's not because I want to get rich, you guys. It's really not because I want to get rich. It's because I want to save lives by feeding people and providing jobs and providing sanctuary. And I feel like maybe tomorrow's not promised to me, and I want people to know what my real heart is on all this stuff. So be blessed, be the blessing. Ask the Lord to speak to me clearly and precisely as you have been doing. It is working. I've had some revelations in the last like 3 or 4 days that have been amazing, but I need a lot more, like a lot more. It's only just begun. So I'll keep you posted. I will see you guys in about an hour or so for EBRT when I'm at Alex's house. Be blessed. Thank you for being the blessing from me. And I pray that if I can ask one more thing, I know I keep saying stuff. If I can ask one more thing, think about this just one more time. Just I know I wanted to say this. I'm so glad I didn't forget. I am so grateful that any of you would come to me when you're depressed. I am so grateful, and I don't want it to stop. I don't want you to watch this video and think to yourself, I can't write Nathan because he's got so much on his plate. This is how I am blessed, by being a blessing for you. If you're struggling and you want me to be the brother to counsel you or to talk to you, I want to do that for you. So do not let the devil give that lie in your ear that I should not reach out to Nathan. But I want you to all think about something if you're somebody in this ministry. When I'm going through somebody's struggle with them, whether it be divorce, suicide, I've got a diagnosis that I'm dying, it's the end of the world and the reality has set in, think about how many emails go back and forth between us. On average, it's about 100, right? Between the two of us. So 50 me, 50 them, right? It's about 100 back and forth emails that go back and forth until, like, you know, at least that one day is moved on. If I do that with like 20 people, right, that's 100 times 20 in just a day, right? Again, I'm not complaining, but what I'm saying is that what I don't get back very much, and this sucks that I have to bring this up, but I'm just saying it because, like, I am burnt out, and it's something that maybe we should think about for each other when we're doing like fellowship, Zoom and chat for each other. Sometimes we will have a brother or sister, not Nathan, somebody else will have a brother or sister, and we'll use them as a sounding board or a counselor, which normally you'd have to pay a lot of money to a professional, somebody to be there for you, especially for as many hours as we might put in as brother, sister, serving one another, right? But then what happens is when the person's doing good, nothing. No, nothing. There's not 100 emails back and forth for sure when somebody's doing good, right? There might be a, hey, thank you, which is nice, it's something, but just think about that. Think about the ratio. If you're one of those people who are like, I'm too shy to make a testimony, I'm too shy to make a comment, right? Well, think about like how I'm going through, or your sister or brother who's taking your counsel or being ministering onto you, how they'll go through hundreds of emails and text messages with you. And then you're saying, I'm too shy to give a testimony. And now think about Yeshua. How many hours, minutes, words do you say to Yeshua and the Holy Spirit, you know, hey, this is my problem, this is my struggle, this is what I'm going through. And then how many hours and minutes do you say giving praise for what he fixed or what they helped you with, right? We got to fix this ratio. We need to praise and give praise reports way more than we have complaint reports. And if you want to reduce the complaint report in your life, you have to start already outnumbering your words with praise report. And that's not me being Christianity, you know, Christianese, okay? That's not me being that. I am giving a testimony now of saying that I know that the more I testify, the less I complain. The more I praise the Lord, the less I have to whine or cry about, right? So this is my advice back to my brothers and sisters. This is me trying to give you another piece of advice. If you have a brother and sister that serve you or really bless you or are there for you in hard times, don't take them for granted. Make sure that they know that you are grateful for their ministry onto them. Even though we sow into the Lord, we're all humans. We all have only so much fuel in the tank, right? Step out of that comfort zone and start posting testimonies, start writing testimonies, start writing, you know, letters of thank yous and things like that back. And I hate saying this because it now seems like I'm asking you all to write me and thank me, but I'm not. I'm really talking about the culture. I'm really talking about the culture because I can't imagine if anybody else feels like me where their tank is empty and they're trying to do life and kids and husbands and wives and all that stuff and moms and dads and cancers or whatever. Like, I can't imagine what they'd be going through, right? Like, so I know that people need it. As much as we need counseling, the person who counsels you needs some positive feedback. Okay? It's just ministry back onto the person. It doesn't have to be, it's not to feed their ego. okay? And that's a fine line to walk, and you gotta feel that in spirit. But I do hope that you're hearing these messages. I feel like I'm just venting everything. I believe this is everything. I'm sure I forgot something, but I believe this is everything. I will see you soon. Again, be blessed and be the blessing. And please forgive me if I have ever done anything, or you perceived I've ever done anything that has my character was tainted, or I was in a bad place. And the next time that happens to a brother or sister, not one of those 6 sisters, just real quick, not one of those 6 sisters at that meetup ever reached out to me and said, hey, what happened that day? Not one. And it breaks my heart. As much as it breaks my heart as the person who put me in that situation, it breaks my heart that not one of my sisters that day said what happened that day. Nobody dared to ask me, right? Like, and they could have done it. They said, that doesn't really seem like it would be you. That doesn't, I'm not trying to say I believe you did that, what we think you did, but it's just interesting to me that they changed how they behaved towards me, which means that they thought it, and something changed. But they never reached out to me and said, I'd like to talk to you about this and maybe you can clear it up for me. Instead, they just held that image of me, right? And I think that that's something that we should do to our other brothers and sisters. We should write them without judgment and say, hey, maybe you did do something that isn't maybe as holy as I would perceive you should be, or as righteous of a person as you should be. I just want to know that I'm not in wrong thinking. And if this is the case, then I'll pray for you on it. No judgment. I'll pray for you on it, or whatever, right? Instead of having this gossip stuff going on in the background or whatever. So just get it cleared. Go to the source and say, hey, I love you enough to talk to you about it, and I don't want to go around thinking badly of you, especially if it's a lie, right? So yeah, heavy video for me. Thank you guys. I love you so dearly. You probably won't know until we get to the other side how much I love you all. And I look forward to continually blessing you, and I know you will continually bless me. I will see you in just a bit. Talk to you soon.